Aloha everyone, this is Roy Tabora coming at you from my studio on the north shore of Oahu. This painting might look familiar to you that caught us with our first session, but what we're trying to do here is trying to accommodate all the requests of folks from all over that are curious to see how I do the paintings that you've seen on our page. Last Friday, we started with a blank canvas, just doing a little recap. Did a pencil sketch of the idea that and the setup that I wanted, and then after that was done, then I went over it with paint thin with paint thinner. Some people will use turpentine, but whatever works for you. But in the meantime, it became it's pretty much a value study, light and dark, right? To figure out where the darks are, where the lights are, and everything in between. So this is as far as we got last Friday, okay? This is the breaking wave, which is the focal point of the painting, all right? This is the main interest. I got rocks that I put in the beach down here, mid-ground landmass over here with some bushes and or trees. And then we are progressively gonna register all the other land masses and mountains as we go further back, okay? So hopefully in today's second session, I will be able to finish, right? So I've got these mountains to do, the clouds, the sky, and the moon, okay? So we'll do that. I'm gonna use what I used here was just one color, and it was indigo. So that's a dark blue that's a little on the purple side, okay? You can use whatever color that you're comfortable with, but basically what you're trying to do is establish your light and dark distribution of your composition. Where it's supposed to be dark, where it's supposed to be light. You can change that. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. You're welcome to the club. Everybody makes those mistakes, and not just in the beginning, but when you're trying to register what you have in your head onto canvas. Sometimes things don't quite appear as well as they did in your head, all right? So that's normal. Don't worry about that. Just make the adjustment as soon as you can. So, so now I'll start here with this mountain because this is the next landmass after these guys. And as I'm painting, I will try and explain to you guys what I'm doing. If you got questions, then go ahead and ask them. Our lovely producer, Ann Wood, will be handling all of that, and she'll relay them to me, and I'll do my best to answer your questions.
Linda Hampton says aloha.
Hey, Linda from Atlanta.
Woo! Michael Steele's on.
Uh-oh. Brought a Santa. All right. Let's get going. Enough delays. Enough stalling. Linda's been to this house, you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, way back.
Wow,
Way
she's
back. She used to hang out with Quentin, but we're not going to hold that against you.
She's got a beautiful family. She's got beautiful kids, beautiful grandkids.
Oh yeah.
One just graduated.
I know. And she got beautiful artist friends.
Jeez.
All right. So the one thing that's good about these washes is that it stains the canvas, right? Because the white is really glaring to look at, and it'll throw off your color perception when you get to that point. So by eliminating that, you're gonna make your life a little bit easier, okay? Well, at least you can't blame the glare if you mess up. So, but let's not talk about messing up.
So you're just using one color of paint?
So far. In a little while, I might switch and use some greens because these are the mountains after all. But for right now, we'll continue with the original plan that we had, which was just so far I'm using just indigo. As soon as I add another color, I'll tell everybody.
So I know you called it a wash. Does that mean that indigo is mixed with something?
It's just thinned out with mineral spirits. Okay, so it has a watery feel.
What's the difference between a mineral spirit and turpentine?
Turpentine, paint thinner, all of those things are mineral spirits. So whichever one that you like to work with, do that. Main thing is it's not water. Okay, it's oil based.
Does it smell like turpentine or is it weaker?
They all have different smells, and that's why some people don't use turpentines because they can't stand the smell. But again, main thing is it's oil based, petroleum based, right? That's the part that matters. Whatever else that it needs to be so that you're good with it, you're comfortable with it, you're not allergic to it, then do that. It's just the point is to just be able to get rid of that the whiteness of the canvas, so it's not glaring at you. So later on, it won't throw off your color perception. And I'm using a number 8 flat brush. The numbers don't really mean anything because everybody's got a different numbering system. So just look at it and you go, oh, okay, that's about the size I want to use. Then go ahead and use that. This is about a 1/4 inch width. Oh, my Uber Eats just got here. Okay.
You want it here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Got to paint and eat. That's part of the system.
You need fuel. You need fuel.
Now, do you usually paint in silence?
It doesn't matter to me. I got used to painting when there's all kinds of commotion going around. Actually, it was kind of strange at first when there wasn't any commotion going around because that's not what I was used to. But I can paint pretty much under any conditions at this point. I'm able to focus regardless.
So you kind of push on the brush hard. Does that wreck it since you go every direction like a kid?
It'll wreck it. It'll wreck it. But then that's why I try to choose materials that are as economical as possible because it doesn't matter. I'm going to wreck it anyway. So whether it's an expensive brush or not, the way I use it anyway. But for the most part, it's not like they're really fragile. They can take a beating. It'll be a lot of work like this. And of course, it doesn't help that if you don't clean your brushes at the end.
So, Linda Hampton wondered, would you use the indigo wash if you were painting a golden painting instead?
Yeah, I would. I could, because all that we're concerned about is dark and light, regardless of color, right? But the indigo gives me, it's a dark color to begin with, so it gives me latitude to make it lighter by adding more, by thinning it out. And I can use the whiteness of the canvas to add on to the visual perception of lightness when I thin out the dark, right? So it's the dark indigo, when you lighten it, the canvas will show through, and that takes the place of me adding white to my paint, right? Like a watercolor, right? So, and I have done some, warm paintings, sunsets and whatnot, that I had first done it this way with the indigo, and then when it came down to underpainting it, all I was paying attention to was the light and dark, not the color. And then I can use the color that I really intended. But that's a good question. So it applies to whatever.
How long does it take you usually to do a painting of this size to complete it?
Oh, the size. The question is how long will it take to complete a painting of this size? Now, obviously, size is a factor because you got to cover the area, right? However, a lot of it also will depend on how complex your composition is. If you got a very simple composition, then that's not going to take as long as something that is very intricately mapped out. But let's just say on the average, if this is all that I worked on, probably within anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, we should get something pretty respectable.
Is it harder for you to paint when it's dark outside, allowing less natural light in here?
No, because I rely on artificial light, so the outside doesn't matter. And the studio was set up this way, and I got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know I got 8, so that's 17 times 2. That's 34 fluorescent bulbs I got above me to simulate daytime. So I can work at any time because I control my light, right? It's not dependent on what's going on outside.
So you picked a special bulb color?
Yeah, full spectrum bulbs, simulating daylight, a little bit, barely noticeable, the warmth of the light. But the main thing is that it's even, and it doesn't look fake. It looks like you're just you're outside. Okay, so I got this guy covered. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Okay, so think of it as like like a pencil sketch, right? When you're doing a pencil sketch, you kind of want to do everything really light, just because you're not really sure on everything yet, but you want to kind of sort of record as you're going along what you think is right and what needs adjustment. And then once you're sure, you can be more definite with your the pressure on your pencil, and you can make where it's supposed to be darker, right? So that's what I'm doing, and I'm also the reason I'm using a smaller brush is as I explained last Friday, it gives me a kind of a dry run on how I'm going to do the underpainting later, right? So I'm practicing what my approach is going to be later on, and if you don't need that, then you can do it any old way you like, right? Just the main thing is that where it's supposed to be dark, it's dark, and light where it's supposed to be light. But I'm also trying to carve out the volume of the mountain, so and I can use that as a guide as well later on. So you're actually accomplishing one or more things as you're doing this step, and anytime you can be efficient with your efforts, that's a good thing, right? If you can save on steps, that's a good thing. And that's why even on my underpainting, when I'm using opaque paints, I kind of combine 2 or 3 sessions in that one session, right? And that's why people go, that underpainting looks pretty close to done, right? But obviously, it's not done by what I had planned, right? I've got plans that nobody knows of and nobody sees. because I'm not using a photo reference. But I know what my plan was, and so I go with that. I know I'm a ways away from where it needs to be, but at least after this guy is dry, I will have recorded what I thought of at the time, and I have a choice. I either stick with that plan, or I have since figured out a better way, and then I'll do the better way, right? So everything that I'm doing has a reason for being done a certain way, and all of those reasons favor me, okay? And those are the kind of things that you should do too. Develop a system where the things that you're doing are done because they make your subsequent sessions easier for you, right? You got to help yourself, right? And by doing, somebody might reason out, well, why don't you just get a big brush and just cover the whole thing, and you'll be done in 90 seconds. That's true. You would probably be done in less time than that, and you will have covered it. But like I said earlier, I'm combining doing that and also seeing about the kind of details I want to put in here later on. So I'm getting a little bit of a dry run practice thing by using a small brush, so I can make smaller strokes. Getting darker already, and that will come into play later on when the rest of the white area of the canvas here gets covered. This will look different because right now our eyes are comparing it to stark white, right? So this looks very, very dark compared to here, right? But once this guy here, this area gets color, it won't look as dark, right? Just got to remember everything is relative. Everything that you're perceiving is not in isolation. It looks this way because of what's next to it, right? And if you just remember that, you won't get so alarmed that, oh, something's way too dark or something's way too light. You do this so that you can already see the relationship, the value relationship of the rocks with the surf, with the foam, with the landmass, rocks against these guys, rocks against the beach. So relatively speaking, they make sense where they're at. And if they don't, then you've got some adjusting to do so that they do make sense, right? And you're able to do it with not so much commitment that you can't change it. Okay, so that's a good thing, especially if you're first starting out. Have fun with this, but serious enough so that you will learn something, right? Because what you want to do is pick up some skills that you can use down the road, right? The more automatic things are for you, the more you can enjoy all the other things that you will be exploring at some point or another. So you got to get this part right. It's a fun thing to do. If you're impatient, like I am, then develop patience, because this is an important thing. I'm a very impatient person, but I know that by sharing this with you guys, that it'll help you. All right. So that's what makes it worthwhile for me, is that I know you guys are going to benefit from it, doing it this way. In reality, when I'm doing my paintings for myself without having to share with anybody, I skip this altogether. Okay, so this is for your benefit, right? This will help you so that it's a little bit easier to transition from one stage to the next if you follow all the stages instead of skip. Now later on, when you know all of them, if you want to skip them all together, skip more than what I skip, go ahead. Whatever works is the rule, all right? But just for the benefit of everybody else, we'll start this way. Some of you guys that are further along in your skills, it's kind of fun to revisit, right? Like I said, I don't normally work this way, but you know, I don't begrudge doing it. I mean, I have fun, right? So to revisit it over and over, perfectly fine with me. And I hope you guys are able to get something out of this to help you in your painting journey. Okay. And I will make this part right here. I did that last Friday, but I'm gonna make it a little bit darker than what I initially had. Okay. And the little white gaps on there, I put it on there so that I can separate the areas. All right. So that's just a little clue that I leave for myself. It's not gonna remain that way, but I kind of know where the boundaries are. Right. So it's a little reminder. And then if you guys do the same thing, it'll serve the same purpose.
Patty's on. Patty Rolfe.
Patty, what's happening?
Live from the Marriott. Oh, she's at Kauai Dukes.
What?
We miss Dukes, Patty.
I guess it's lunch, yeah.
Yeah. 12:45. 12:45 somewhere.
So, yeah, there's lots of places. Right here is one of them. Okay, and I'm kind of, as I'm getting closer to this part of the painting, closer to the wave, I am deliberately making it lighter to simulate the glow. Okay. Again, that's only as a reminder of where I wanted to go with this, right? There you go. Okay, so we'll let this area dry first for a little bit, and then in the meantime, I'm gonna do this other mountain, the farthest mountain there is, after some water. So now what I'm comparing is this landmass here that's very dark. It gets lighter as it gets closer to where the glow is. I got this landmass here that's supposed to be a little bit lighter than here, but darker than this. So
Brandy's watching us too.
Who?
Brandy.
Oh, hey, Brandy. So, yeah, and if there anything that I'm not explaining, or I don't hesitate, there's no such thing as a dumb question, a stupid question. Whatever it is that's going to help you, this is the time to just say, and you know what? You're probably helping a lot of people that are too shy to ask. So, you know, go be the hero that says, hey, you know what? I can see all the numbers.
Do you know Lily Malini from Waianae?
No, I don't think so. Do I?
Yeah, she's watching.
Oh, okay. Hi, Lily.
get a lot of inspiration in wine eye.
Oh yeah, a lot of creative people on this island for sure.
Beautiful scenery. I think one of my favorite views is looking at the mountains from like Colina area. Gosh, I love that view.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the farthest mountain will be the lightest, right? But it shouldn't be that light because it's nighttime where everything is dark. So that's a little bit of a challenge for a lot of people. But I tell you what, the only way to get better at anything is you practice. Practice, 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 right? That part hasn't changed. That one will always work. So long as you're practicing the correct thing, right? Because practice doesn't care, right? Your body will just get really good at what you do a lot, even if it's the wrong thing. You're gonna get good at the wrong thing, right? Which we don't want that, right? So do your best to always make sure you're doing the right thing, and do that over and over. Your body will figure out that, oh, we want to get good at this, okay? So and it will respond in your favor, right? That's why when you're not working, you get rusty and then kind of like, oh, you got to start at square one again. And that's true for anybody. Even me, when I go away for a little while, go on vacation and whatnot, you know, I try to pack something that I can do art with that's compact, whether it's watercolor or just a sketchbook or whatever. Try to you know, stay kind of warmed up a little bit so that when I get home, I'm not really cold and rusty. I can easily get back into all the things that I need to do.
So if you were painting this and you decided to do this wash, but you were alone, not really showing people how to do it, would it take you about 4 hours roughly, or would you go way faster?
Oh, I would probably go way faster because I naturally will figure out how to combine certain things that normally you wouldn't. Like I said, I combine three stages at one time, and that I can do because I just been at it for a long time, and I realized I could, right? In the beginning, you try and follow the stages that you need to do, and you're really kind of forcing yourself to, you know, stay in your lane of what you're doing, right? Because you don't know yet that, oh, I could have combined it with this one here and it would have been okay. But that's okay to find out later on. In the meantime, get good at every stage, and all the adjustments that you're going to do later on, that'll be up to you. So 4 hours for this, maybe a little bit more than that, because some of the processes that are involved actually require drying time. And drying time where you're not painting on it is just as important as when you are painting on it, because that has a place in the final outcome of your product. It's kind of like if you are supposed to wait, you know, let's say an hour before you continue, or wait 3 hours before you continue, so the paint's a little tacky. It's still wet, but it's kind of starting to set up. Or do you need to wait 2 days so that it's completely dry before you do the next step? Well, being that that's an important step, it counts as the time it took to get the thing done. It's not as if that doesn't count. The time only matters when you got brushed to the canvas. Well, that's not true. The time that you got to take a break in order for things to work out is equally important.
Patty is with Mike and Bella right now.
What? Bella. Mike, how's it?
That's awesome. I have to make sure that I lick it before I walk over and say hi. Bella, Patty, Mike, we miss you guys.
Where are you? Right there? Alright. So before I go into the sky, so all the land areas are done, right? You got the mid-ground, you got the mountains in the back, but I know that before I do this, I need to make the land areas a little darker, okay? So I will do that now, and get it so that it's the value difference is not so great between here and here, okay? Is this wrong? It's not wrong, okay? You get to a point where it's not a question of right and wrong anymore. It's what you prefer, right? You can prefer that a mountain is, a mile away, or you can make the mountain appear 10 miles away. That's your decision later on, right? But for now, since this stage is kind of like, it's so free and accommodating, you can do whatever you want. It's just a value study, light and dark, okay? I'm gonna choose to make this guy here a bit darker than what it is, and then these guys will follow as well. In fact, I'll do it here first, okay?
We have someone new tuning in, Matt Valdez. He and his wife love your work.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Welcome aboard.
Bella thought we could see them.
Put your clothes back on. We can't see you.
Oh, Stephen Courtley's on.
What?
I don't know who that is.
It found time in his busy schedule.
That's probably a private message coming through.
Oh.
Courtley needs lessons. That's why he's watching.
I doubt that.
I love it. It makes me feel like I can see everyone, and even though they're so far away and haven't made it back to Hawaii yet.
No, it's true. I mean, any which way that we can have some kind of connection, that's a good thing.
Yeah, not too much has changed. We still got pineapples and painting.
Uh-huh.
And I've only gotten a year older. Some people grew more than that.
Yeah, when you factor in stress level, yeah, things like that happen. Okay, so right there, right, it already got a little bit darker. All right, so now I'm gonna follow suit.
So Steve really didn't get in on the action in the beginning. So he says that he loves how you started this very monochromatic feel. Can you explain your thought process? So he doesn't know what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Is it hard to manage all the values?
No. The question, I guess, is if it's difficult to do this part. Actually, it's a lot easier because it's basically like a pencil drawing, right? It's light and dark, light and dark, light and dark, without minding the colors that I'm going to use later, right? But as I said in the beginning, for my professional colleagues, if this is not part of your work process, that's perfectly understandable because it's really not a prerequisite for mine either, right? But for the benefit of those guys that are first starting out, that don't have years of knowledge that you've already stored up in your head, that allows you to skip certain steps for somebody that's first getting going, it may be confusing and hard to follow, right? So by showing them this step right here, they can take an intermediate step in between those big leaps that help bridge that gap so that they don't get lost, right? So and this is very convenient for a moonlight piece because things are kind of monochromatic anyway at night, right? Nothing is vibrant at night, right? Nothing.
So Kim and Mark are at IMP with Brandy. They say aloha. They're watching you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Hello. Welcome.
I guess this must be their first time back since COVID hit. I haven't seen them pop in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got diamond heads. We got diamond heads. Right?
You need a diamond head? I got a diamond head. Pacific Gem number 2. It's on the wall. Run away.
Run away. While you can.
And actually, someone is watching from Uruguay.
Really?
Yeah.
Or as they call
Her
it
name's
there,
Elizabeth.
Uruguay.
Whatever. You know.
We're just having fun, folks. Okay, everybody, just unball your fists.
I went to private school. What do you expect?
I know, right? And evidently you missed.
I needed to go to public school. They teach me better.
Yeah, where they have a bigger library.
She's from Latin America. For those of you who don't know where she's from,
Uh-huh.
there's a real place.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful, real place. Right. So now we're getting things a lot more fitting, at least in the model that I have in my head. Again, it's the more you do this, the more you get a feel for what it is that you like, and then you're gonna paint it accordingly, right? You don't have to paint it the way I'm doing it. I'm just showing you how I would do it, adapt it to yours if you could. If you don't need it, then obviously you skip this step altogether. It's for a lot of professionals out there, this part is not necessary. But like I said, I try to have fun with whatever I'm doing, right? So to me, that's an essential ingredient, no matter what it is I'm doing, because I just found out from years and years of having to do a lot of stuff, you'll do a much better job at anything when you're having fun, right? Because first of all, when you're having fun, you don't want to quit, right? Nobody wants to quit having fun. So the key ingredient is find a way to have fun doing it, right? Even if you don't know what you're doing, you can laugh at yourself, right? Feel good that, hey, at some point it won't be like this, and you would be correct. At some point, enjoy it now because it won't last this way forever, right? At some point you're gonna know a lot about what you're doing, especially the preliminary stages, and it'll never be like this. So have fun while it's like this. Especially, it's a stage where you can't make a lot of mistakes. So it's
I hope not.
well, no, because that's the thing with somebody that's new at it. the first thing you're doing is like worrying that you're going to make a mistake, as if there's a way to avoid it. There is not a way to avoid the mistake. So if you're worried about that, don't worry, you will make a mistake, right? Well, what I'm trying to say is it's not a big deal, because there's not anybody that I know that's really awesome at what they do, all right? The Stephen Courtleys of the world, okay? They just didn't allow the mistakes to get the best of them, right? They would always figure out a way to use that mistake as a wake-up call to a particular thing or a general thing, and it's the first step in improving what it is that they have. And for those that are willing to share the truth about that, they will tell you the exact same story I'm telling you now, okay? So don't feel bad about the mistake, because really, in reality, that's the only time that we begin to learn, right? It stems from a mistake, because what we're trying to do is not make the same mistake again, right? So our thought process is, oh, okay, what did I do, and how do I not do that again? Correct. You're on the right track, right? And then you might guess the wrong answer, but eventually you're going to guess the right answer, all right? So have fun with everything. The mistakes are fine. People can say, well, there's no mistake. Yeah, there is. There's all kinds of mistakes. I just don't place an important value on them. But they're mistakes. And I know, how do you know that they're mistakes? Because you don't want to repeat them. And that's how you know, right? Because if they're the right thing, you do it that way, exactly that way every time. Okay? So it's not a bad thing to call a mistake what it is. Because that gives you the alarm bell to say, oh, okay, pay attention to that. Don't do it that way. What's the right way? I don't know, but that's the wrong way. Do it another way until somebody shows you or you discover what it is. Either way, you're the winner, right? So mistakes, no problem. No problem. There's only so many of those. At some point, you will hardly be making any mistakes, and you'll just fondly remember when most everything you did was wrong. No big deal. It's only a big deal if you make it a big deal. All right, and there now, the last mountain.
Oh, you know, the guy Matt, he actually asked if you ever listen to music, and who do you listen to while you're painting?
Oh, okay. Usually I do listen to music, but I think since we're broadcasting this thing, I might violate some copyright laws if we do that in the background. But I'm a big, I'm old, so I'm a Steely Dan fan. Okay. I used to propose this query to some of my friends, like, if you're stuck on an island and you can only bring one music, what would you bring? And for me, it was Steely Dan. I can really relate to their music, their uniqueness, their artistry, the fact that they don't remind me of anybody else. I love that. In their uniqueness. I was able to see him in concert one time. It was awesome. It was awesome. So yeah, that, and every once in a while, I'll again all the genres around that time period. I like listening to. Also, during that time period, the artists in Hawaii that I would listen to in the 70s. I love those. C&K, Kalapana, all those guys.
Debbie with the little baby, Tallulah.
Oh, how's it?
They're watching again.
Okay.
From Ireland.
Welcome, Tallulah and family. Okay, you can see it's getting darker, right? little reminder for those of you that are looking at it and go, okay, it was lighter, now it's darker. Just think of it. You don't want to overdo it, right? Just in the way I try to equate it, it's like you're adding salt to your cooking, right? You don't want to go nuts. You can always add some more, okay? But when you make it too dark and then you have to wipe it off, okay, it ruins your rhythm, okay? Especially when you get your rhythm started, you don't want an interruption, and then you're going to go into fix-it mode, okay? I mean, you should do that, but you don't want to even get started doing that. Just take your time. If you're going to make it, if it needs to be darker, do it gradually. Because you can always make it darker later, right? And I'm showing you that you can. I may have deliberately made this guy lighter so that you can see that, okay, as light as it wasn't alarming, right? No big deal, because I know I can make it darker. And I am doing that now. Hopefully this is putting Tallulah to take her nap, be all sleepy. It's hypnotizing.
It's really cool how you can do an entire painting and it's one color, yet you can tell everything that was done. It's like the pencil sketch, right?
Or
just,
think of it as a black and white photograph.
yeah.
It's a black and white photograph, and yet by your command of how the different gradation that you understand and you can use to your advantage, you can actually have an image born out of black and white, whether it's a photograph or a painting, that is more compelling and more dynamic than something with color, because you are forced to appreciate the values of it, because that's all they give you.
Right.
Right? And then the other thing is composition, right? If the composition is not adorned with all kinds of stuff, then it has to stand alone in its simplest form. And that is a good way to test whether your composition is just nuts solid, and then everything else is a plus that you add on to it, right? But without adding on anything, it's a standalone. Yeah, that's a good way to prove it to yourself that your composition is pretty solid. Okay, so a little bit darker. So now we'll make the mist a little bit darker too. This is the mist coming off the breaking wave.
So your white oil paint will really be able to cover that.
It'll cover everything. It'll cover every square inch. It's like painting the painting twice.
Wow.
Right? But obviously I don't look at it that way. Because I look at this as, number one, helping those that are interested in oil painting, giving them a step that is very handy, right? And it'll make them have more fun with all the other steps later, and it gives me practice for my strokes, right? That's why I'm using a small brush, because eventually. That's where it's going anyway. The big brush in the beginning, and then when you get to the little details, you're going to have to go with a smaller brush. So there you go. We've got a glow going on. I think this is about right as far as the darkness that I wanted. Okay. So now what I will do? Do we take a break, or we just keep going?
What's your next?
Well, I'm going to do the sky.
Okay, so this will be good, I think, and then we can do the sky the next session.
Okay. Okay.
So Yeah, thanks
So-
for watching.
We're finishing up. Okay, guys, thanks for keeping me company. And we will finish up in a few days. I think Friday, we're trying to plan this again on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay?